Right, hello everyone, and today I'm going to just be talking about the modded maps and consoles. The way that modded maps and consoles work is that they don't. When you're making a modded map, you get given a very strict set of rules. Not technically strict, but you have to follow them to actually get the modded map to work. If you don't, the modded map doesn't work at all. And there isn't an option for us to work on modded maps for consoles. The way that modded maps and consoles work is that the devs take the modded map from the community. They ask the person who made it, could we please either buy the map off of you or make you a dev, or could we have this map so we could put it into our game? And they have the original assets that they made the entire game with to be able to convert it. And basically, you know, when you get a console port of something, so you get a PC port of a console game like Saints Row 2 for example, it's one I can think of off the top of my head. They get someone to port all of the stuff over to PC to allow it to work, because it originally wasn't made for a PC, so they have to adjust a lot of settings to get it to work. It's the same thing with modded maps. The way Stoker worked, it was a modded map. Speed got asked Speed got asked if he could get it bought off of him. He said yes, because I mean, why not? Why wouldn't you want to see you get your map that you made in the full game? So they had to buy it off of him, get all of the original file, the original Unity file, take the file and adjust it so that the consoles could actually run with it, because I'm pretty sure it works a bit different. I've never worked on a console game because you have to have a ton of different bits of software to allow it to work. You have to have a lot of licensing as well to get it to work. The way that modded maps won't work on console, you won't get some mod browser like you do with the Senders. The Senders has mod.io mod browser. You won't be able to get that. It's just not how consoles work. Consoles are very restricted in what they can and can't do. It's the way that, so for example, with Xbox you won't get mods because of the way that Microsoft limits certain factors of what you can and can't do. This is a great example because Xbox can't have mods, and neither can the Xbox Game Pass version of the game on PC. The version that Microsoft sell to you off of the Microsoft Store, if you buy Descenders there, you cannot have mods. It just doesn't work. You can't have mods off of that version of the game because, once again, Microsoft restrict it and stop it from happening. It's just not how it works. But if you have the Steam version, which is the PC release, it directly is for PC only, because it's on Steam. It has capabilities that you're allowed to mod it, because it's just how PCs work. When you have a PC, you are way less restricted on what you can and can't do. Say for example, you want a specific hex color code for your theme on your Xbox. You can't do that unless you can, but I don't actually know because I don't own an Xbox. But this is just an example that I'm thinking of in my head, because you can't do that on PS4. So I know you can change the color and stuff, but you can't choose a specific hex code. But if you had a PC, yeah, that's all in your fair game. You can do that because you can personalise it to however much you want, and it sort of works the same in a way with consoles. Is consoles don't allow you to do this because it's this way or no way at all. It's the default settings that we give you because we have control over our console, or it's nothing at all. The way that console modding worked in the past is you had to jailbreak your console to bypass all of those default walls and settings that you couldn't change, and then you could access files and you could have mods on your PS3 for like Saints Row 2 or whatever. I just remember it because I know modding on Saints Row 2 on console was a thing back in the day. So for Skater XL is another one, because I know a lot of people want modded maps for Skater XL because there's way more modded maps on Skater XL than there is default maps in the game. People make better maps than the devs do for Skater XL. I sort of have a hateful, not really, I don't hate them, I just dislike the way that they work for the devs, because they don't do a very good job at doing well for their community, I suppose. The community does for the community does for the community what the devs should do for the community. So the devs should have put in either a huge open world map like, say, Skates one, or they should have done it like Tony Hawk and had a load of different maps that you could play that isn't just around there's 5 stock maps and 3 bought modded maps. They didn't make the extra 3, they bought them the mega ramp is actually kind of small. It's a mega ramp. Once you've skated it a few times, there's not much to do on a mega ramp. It's a big ramp. End of story. The downtown map is just big open space because that's just how America is. It's got a lot of space, so they make use of that a lot of space by filling it in with a more of no space. So the downtown map is huge. Same with the school map. It's just massive, and there's a lot of wasted space that modded map makers would fill with stuff because they want to compact a lot of fun into a small area, because people will have fun in a smaller area than they will have fun in a big open space with not much to do. Like the streets is a really good example. There's spot after spot after spot after spot. There isn't really any wasted space at all. If there is just open space that's just flat ground, it's there for a reason, to give it that sort of aesthetic and give it that immersive feel. And it's just how it is. The way that modded maps work for Skater XL as well, there is mod.io for Skater XL, but it just stores all the files, so it makes it easier to download. It's not the same way as in Descenders, where it is attached to the game, where you can just go on the game and go, yeah, I want that map please, and it'll download it. You have to then download it and then put it in a file directory using Unity Mod Manager to allow you to access those files, and it's a bit different. And it's just the way modding works. Modding is, you have to get around the... It is a form of hacking. So modding is technically like hacking, because it's like, so there's an account that I want to get into, but it has a password and I need to get around that password to get into the account. And it's the way that modding works. So modding sort of has, the stock game has a sort of password to stop you from changing the file straight away, but the mod manager or the mod script or whatever allows you to break past that wall and then mod it. And it's the way that it just doesn't work on consoles, because it's the same way that jailbreaking works. You had to break through that lock that's there to get something different. You had to change anything that you wanted, you had to break through that lock, and it's the reason that modding is just not going to come to consoles. It's just not going to work. It's just not happening. I'm sorry to say, but just because it's so much work, and when you're making a modded map you don't have access to make a modded map for consoles, it's just not going to happen. And it has to be changed by devs, really. So and even then, for a modded map to be put in a game, devs have to change it, and even then they have to go through a lot of ratings and testings and whatever to get the AOK from the people that allow them to change the stuff. The same with you would really, it would have to be Microsoft has to change it for you to have modded maps. I'm going to stop here because otherwise it's just a massive ramble, and I'm sorry for going off on a tangent on Skater XL, but yeah, modded maps aren't going to happen. I hope this clears it up. I know a lot of people won't watch a lot of this video, but I hope it just clears it up more than... I'm just trying to help everyone out, really. I just want to clear this big confusion up on why modded maps, they're not going to happen, okay? So when you see a map that isn't on your console, for Descenders, there is no seed for it. That's just not how it works. Seeds don't give you access to modded maps. That's not how it works. So yeah, I'm going to leave this here before I keep going, and I'll see you lot later. Goodbye.